Neil Sharkey, months and months and months of what has been building between Pharaoh and Phil Brown all comes to a head here tonight at 0 hour inside a steel cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is what we have come here to see. This is the big main event. As you said, months and months. It's all boiled down to tonight. It's all boiled down to Pharaoh and Phil inside the unforgiving steel cage.
Words can hardly describe the animosity between these two men, and it's all about an amount of pride, an amount of respect, and it's all for that GXW Heavyweight Championship. The Pharaoh, the self-proclaimed Egyptian god, the man 2,000 years in the making, saying tonight he is walking away with gold around his waist.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you've got a steel cage surrounding the ring, it could get ugly, it could get real dangerous very quick. They have to be on the top of their game because they are in a life or death situation, and both men have made it clear they're willing to put their lives on the line for the Gxw Heavyweight title.
And so far in this battle between Phil Brown and Pharaoh, we've already seen them go at it before Pharaoh lost his undefeated streak against our champion, Phil Brown.
He put together one impressive winning streak, unprecedented in GXW. He has already proven he belongs in the spot that he is in tonight in the main event, inside the cage for the Heavyweight Championship.
And we're about to see the entrance of our GXW Heavyweight Champion. But look at the look on his face. Normally, Phil Brown, a nice guy, a little playful sometimes with the crowd, but you can see it in his eyes. He is focused. He is not taking his eyes off Pharaoh, and there has to be an intimidation factor knowing that you're about to walk inside a steel cage against a man you absolutely hate.
For sure, and you're putting your livelihood on the line, not just the heavyweight championship. You're putting your own livelihood, your ability to make a living on the line as well. This is as serious and as intense as it gets. Just you can feel it in the arena right now. Just everybody is on pins and needles. I've got goosebumps on top of goosebumps right now.
And Phil Brown, though, has held on to that title belt for over a year now here at Ground Zero Wrestling. In professional wrestling today, that's a tremendous record that you can't overlook.
That is a rare accomplishment in our industry these days, to be able to hold on to a title for over a year. Phil has backed down from nobody. He has taken on all comers, and he has beaten all comers. Tonight, this is the big one. If he pulls this one off, if he wins tonight, he seals his legacy. He establishes himself as the man. He is that makes him practically the Hulk Hogan or the Bruno Sammartino or the Bob Backlund of GXW. That would be quite of an accomplishment.
You can even hear it in the crowd, that kind of awed silence right now. Everybody is just so ready and wondering what's going to happen, the carnage that they're going to see inside this ring. The silence is deafening right now.
You got to admit that is an awesome structure surrounding the ring, keeping these gentlemen in the ring, and the crowd, as you said, many of them maybe have not seen a match of this magnitude, and it's quite a hush over the crowd right now. They want to cheer, they want to boo, but at the same time, they're wondering what kind of spectacle are we about to see here.
Phil Brown, he's ready to go. Pharaoh taking a gander at the ring. Yeah, almost have to wonder, do these guys kind of second guess themselves, question, how did we get to this point, and what kind of trouble am I going to be in here tonight inside a steel cage?
Well, you mentioned it earlier. It's all about hatred. It's all about unbridled, unmatched hatred between these two men. That's what led to this. And now there will be no excuses. There will be a winner. There will be a champion. There will be a king of the hill, the main man in GXW when this is all said and done.
Saw Pharaoh really quickly try to back up to the ropes, try to get some distance between himself and Phil Brown, but inside a steel cage, there's not far you can go.
There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You are one-on-one with your opponent that you despise, but it's all about the gold. It's all about settling the score as well. But you have to be focused. You have to be determined. They're doing the right thing in the beginning. They're going to feel each other out. They're going to test this cage out and see what their limitations are. We're going to have one heck of a battle here, folks.
In today's age in professional wrestling, you have to look at Ground Zero Wrestling and what we bring you when it comes to action. I don't know where else you can find a steel cage match. I don't know where else you can find I Quit matches and Egyptian death matches except for Ground Zero.
Well, we've seen it all here tonight. Anything and everything, as we said, can and will happen, and it's showtime, baby.
Right now, those two big men locked up in the middle of the ring. Was Phil Brown kind of tossed to the side, but right immediately got back up to his feet.
Well, the Egyptian god, he is an exceptional mat wrestler. This is all about wrestling. It might get ugly, it might get physical, it might get bloody, who knows, but you gotta remember, the marquee says wrestling, and the Egyptian god can wrestle with the best of them. He may look like he's trying to escape the cage right now. Don't let him fool you, though. He knows what he's doing.
I have to remind fans that this match, inside the steel cage, you can only win by a pinfall. So you can't think, oh, I can climb over the top and get away and run away. To walk away with a win here tonight, you have to pin your opponent's shoulders to the mat or make them submit in the center of this ring.
Pharaoh is a smart man. He's testing the cage. Don't think for a second he's afraid of Phil Brown, because he's not. He is testing that cage. He wants to see what he can get away with inside that ring. Don't think for a second that he can't get the job done.
I'm also now being reminded that that the referee can stop the match. If he thinks the carnage is just too much for one of our competitors here, he can stop the match and award a victory. And actually, if you try to run away, if you try to tuck tail and head to the back by climbing over the cage, you are disqualified from the match. There has to be a score settled in the middle of this ring.
That's why I said earlier, when Pharaoh went to the top, don't think for a second he was looking to exit that cage. He's coming up with strategy. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to sucker in Phil Brown, make him think he's scared, and when the time is right, he will strike.
I think both men are taking their time, kind of feeling each other out a little bit right now. This very strong headlock applied by Phil Brown. I think both men, again, like you said, testing their limits, testing their ability, finding out just what this ring with the steel cage around it can handle. Pharaoh going back up top. You have to imagine how much of this is just a mind game. How much of this is just trying to set your own pace.
Pharaoh's an expert at mind games. He's proven that in the past. But now he's having a little bit of trouble up there. He's tasted the steel on a couple of occasions. They're up on the high rent district up at the top of the cage. This is where it gets dangerous.
Phil Brown chops Pharaoh. Pharaoh just drops.
Well, I tell you what, any social plans he had this evening may have been interrupted with that move, because that's a terrible feeling to have your lower extremities draped over the top rope like that.
Phil Brown now with a big dropkick. When I say big, look at the size of Phil Brown. Dropkick, 1, 2. I think maybe only got a 1 count out of that. Pharaoh again backing away from Phil Brown, trying to get some distance between him and the GXW heavyweight champion, trying to regain some control. Wait a minute, trying to get his head right into that steel cage, but stopping himself, and now trying to reverse it. Oh, Phil Brown, though. Phil Brown sees it coming, trying to stop his head from going into that steel cage.
Well, neither one of these men want to have to taste that steel too much because that cage does serious damage. It can bust you open. It can tear open your arms, your legs, anything. And speaking of which, looks like Phil is trying to open up Pharaoh now. He's biting his forehead.
Pharaoh out in his feet. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Referee Bobby Cruz, our senior official here at Ground Zero, right there calling the action for this GXW Heavyweight Championship. And we have a referee also on the outside to make sure that no aspect of this match is missed, that nothing can go wrong, and that whoever walks away here tonight has proven that they are the true GXW Heavyweight Champion.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no doubt who the number 1 and number 2 men in Ground Zero are right now. That's these 2 men in here. That's why they have earned the main event at 0 hour. That's why they are in this steel cage match right now, the biggest show of the year. And they're showing us why they are the top 2 men at the moment.
And right now, even in the back in the locker room, all of the GXW superstars watching on monitors this match in the back. They want to know what's going to happen, not only about where the GXW Heavyweight Championship is going to go next, but they know what this match means between these 2. And now Phil Brown taking Pharaoh to town.
Well, you got to believe the people in the back, you got your Jefferson Earlys, your Eddie Diamonds, your Mark Brevars, they all want to know who the top dog is going to be, and they want their turn down the line. So you better believe everyone in that back is glued to those monitors.
Just saw a thunderous kick to the back of Pharaoh from Phil Brown. Once again, Pharaoh trying to get some distance, going back up top, but Phil Brown is following him. Pharaoh has nowhere to go. Oh, his head once again driven right into the top of that steel cage.
Nobody said this was going to be pretty. When you're locked up in a steel cage, that is a weapon, and you're stupid if you don't use it as a weapon.
Pharaoh, though, able to knock off Phil Brown right there. Oh, going for a choke. His hand just trying to crush the windpipe of Phil Brown, trying to suck the oxygen out.
Well, as good of a technical wrestler as the Pharaoh is, he can break the rules with the best of them, too. He's going right to that throat. He's trying to cut the blood supply to the brain, crush the larynx, whatever he has to do to gain that pinfall.
And of course, Phil Brown, no stranger to the dirty and underhanded tactics of the self-proclaimed Egyptian god. Phil Brown, though, able to overcome every challenge that's been thrown at him for over a year. Even the mind games of the GXW general manager, Timmy Danger, throwing at him, even the likes of a Christian York, ending the undefeated streak of the Pharaoh. Everything that has been tossed in Phil Brown's path, he has overcome.
He's been a fighting champion. He has been the champion, an excellent champion for Ground Zero. But as I said, as I've mentioned in other shows before, the pace that he has set for himself is unprecedented. I'm starting to wonder if the pace and the toll of being champion that long has taken its toll on Phil Brown. I'm telling you, it could go either way tonight. With Pharaoh, though, I like him to ultimately become the new champion, but it could go either way. Phil Brown has proven me wrong in the past, and that's hard for me to say.
Oh, you saw that just tossed like a sack of potatoes right against that side of that cage. There was no give. He bounced off the cage and came crashing down to the mat. Pharaoh right now looks like he's enjoying this moment.
Well, he should. He has things under control. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do here, but Pharaoh has things under control. He needs to stay on top of Phil Brown. He needs to go after that pinfall or submission as opposed to anything else here. So this is not good.
Oh, and again, Phil Brown with a huge drop kick, and Pharaoh dropped. His nether regions comes right down, split like a banana right over that top rope.
Well, I tell you what, that's the second time he's had his grapefruits split, as you said. he has got to be in a world of hurt. Phil is probably his best bet would be to start working on the legs and lower air, start to try to wear the Egyptian god down, and he's got him under control right now.
Phil Brown in control of Pharaoh, whipping him off, but Pharaoh able to see him coming, moved out of the way. Phil Brown goes head first into that top turnbuckle. Now he's reeling on the mat.
It's been nip and tuck all the way, just as I thought it would be for the main event of 0 Hour. But as already the cage has taken its toll on both men. Both men are exhausted right now.
Pharaoh has to be thinking, what's next? Oh, wait a minute, a grin? Is Pharaoh actually smiling right now?
Well, I tell you what, he's got a sadistic streak in him a mile long. He's in this cage. I think that something in Pharaoh's actually enjoying this, enjoying being able to inflict that type of punishment on Phil Brown. I think you're right.
Phil Brown right now is trying to get some distance between him and Pharaoh. It looks like he's kind of holding his baby in his knee a little bit, powering off Pharaoh though, able to capitalize, but he's holding that left knee.
There appears to be some damage there, maybe some ligament damage, cartilage, it's hard to say. But right now, Pharaoh is in the driver's seat, no doubt about it.
Pharaoh just stomping away on the leg of Phil Brown. That's a very, very tender area. I know it myself. I had reconstructive surgery there. You do not want to play with a knee injury.
No, you don't. If you hadn't been so clumsy falling down the stairs, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, if you didn't put something there for me to slip on.
Sorry about the banana peel.
Pharaoh dominating Phil Brown right now, continuing his focus on the knee of Phil Brown. Phil Brown is just in a world of hurt and a lot of trouble. Grinding now, but Phil Brown trying to come back against Pharaoh.
Well, we're gonna find out how bad Phil Brown wants it. We're gonna find out if Phil Brown meant what he said. If he's willing to sacrifice anything and everything, if he's willing to literally die to hold on to that GXW title, it is serious gut check time right now for Phil Brown.
Pharaoh now, look at him. He's enjoying his work at the moment. Spinning Phil Brown right in the middle of the ring and snapping back that leg, applying all his weight and pressure against the normal movement of that knee, trying to torque it any way possible to destroy the ligaments, the cartilage, to grind the bones together of the leg, to do whatever damage he can to Phil Brown to keep him off his feet.
I don't think he even wants Phil to submit. I think he wants to torture Phil Brown for as long as he possibly can. He is making a statement right now. He has been impressive. Phil has been as well, but the damage has been done. Pharaoh is in complete control. He's enjoying himself. He's enjoying the pain that he's inflicting, and he's looking to enjoy a run as the GXW World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, he better be careful because he cannot forget who he's in there against. There was a reason that Phil Brown has held on to that title belt for almost a year and a half now. And look at that. Look at the leverage in that Indian Deathlock.
There's no doubt about that, but no one has been able to inflict that kind of damage on Phil Brown that Pharaoh is right now. And so that's the big difference. Can he get around? Can he manage on that one leg? I don't know about that.
If after watching Phil Brown as our champion for so long right now, of course he has this knee injury that Pharaoh's just tormenting him on. But if there was one weakness in Phil Brown, what would you think it is right now?
Right now, it has to be the fact that his knee is throbbing. He's going to have some serious problems moving around in the ring if he doesn't at all. He may very well tap out and end the match right here and now. But if he's able to get out of this hold, the problem is he has a sadistic Pharaoh who's not afraid to cripple him right now if necessary, and he only has one good leg right now. He is in big trouble. His chances for a quick strike, a quick submission or pin, that's his best bet to try to retain that title.
Phil Brown able to capitalize, able to reverse on Pharaoh. Pharaoh able to make it to the ropes. The referee calling for the break. But Phil Brown, you see him limping a little bit, tossing off Pharaoh, but you can imagine didn't get the leverage he wanted, but he caught some leverage there. Sleeper hold applied right in the middle of the ring. Pharaoh now having the oxygen sucked right out of his lungs. Pharaoh, you see him, he's starting to get tired, starting to get a little droopy.
Well, exactly as I said before, here's his opportunity. He still has good upper body strength. This is his chance. If he can put the Pharaoh to sleep, he's got a shot. He can do it, and this could be it. Nope, Pharaoh is still alive.
But I don't care. Wait a minute. Oh, Pharaoh able to pick Phil Brown up and causes him to come crashing right down to the mat. And I was going to say, I don't think Phil Brown fully had that sleeper applied. He was trying to use that height advantage, but unable to get the leverage, not able to post off that injured knee, not able to torque that sleeper just enough to cut off the oxygen to the brain. And you even see now Phil Brown clutching that left leg.
There's no doubt about it. A healthy, full Phil Brown may have been able to put the Pharaoh to sleep, but that injured knee, again, is hindering him in a big-time way.
Pharaoh trying to shake off some cobwebs, trying to regain his senses right now as the oxygen is coming back into his brain, which can almost be as dangerous as being put out. All the stars are kind of shining in his eyes right now. Oh, wait a minute, but Pharaoh coming back on Phil Brown, but Phil Brown no slouch. Now slugging away at Pharaoh. Both men a little rocked. Oh, but Pharaoh, that big Egyptian chop. Oh, but Phil Brown, there's a right cross you won't ever forget.
These guys are throwing some heavy-duty lumber right now. This is what it's all about. Main event steel cage, baby. Look out. Here we go.
Wait a minute, slow package, goes for cover. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. I think we have a new champion. He pinned him clean. 1, 2, 3. There's no doubt. That was a pinfall.
Pharaoh able to capitalize, hooking that small package, able to capture that leg. Phil Brown unable to kick out, possibly due to that leg injury. Pharaoh is now our new Gxw Heavyweight Champion.
The fans are in shock. I'm not shocked at all. This is a monumental event that we see right here. Phil Brown swearing for a 2 count, but we just saw a 1, 2, 3. And there's no doubt the injury, the damage Pharaoh did to Phil Brown's knee did the damage, did the trick. He was unable to kick out of that small package, and we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Ground Zero, the Egyptian god Pharaoh, and as you see, the crowd is in disbelief.
I think this is a whole new era of darkness beginning right here in Ground Zero.
Well, you better believe that the Pharaoh is going to do anything and everything to hold on to that title. He is the top dog. He is the main man. He has ended the nearly 1-year title reign of Phil Brown. He is in the catbird seat, if you will.
But now you have to imagine that the self-proclaimed Egyptian god, the man who says he is 2,000 years in the making, Pharaoh, has the biggest bullseye marked on him right now, as all those men in the locker room who are watching on the monitors this epic encounter are now looking right at Pharaoh.
You better believe it. There are going to be people from all over the world. Timmy Danger's phone is going to be ringing off the hook over the next few days, with challengers wanting to sign their name on the dotted line to meet the Pharaoh for the championship. But you better believe Pharaoh is already, no doubt, thinking of plans on how to hold on to that title.
Oh, a little bit of a verbal exchange between these two men. You still see that grin on Pharaoh, that cocky demeanor, knowing that he is now holding the belt that Phil Brown coveted for over a year here in Ground Zero. Phil Brown being told by Pharaoh that he needs to step away. This is Pharaoh's moment.
There's no doubt about it. This is the main event that Pharaoh has taken victory. He has claimed the gold. He has claimed the championship as his. He won it. You can say all you want about how he injured the knee, but there's no doubt the bottom line is he pinned Phil Brown's shoulders to the mat for a 1, 2, 3 count. he has earned the World Heavyweight Championship, and he will be looking for his reign of darkness. He's already plotting on how he is going to hold on to that title with an iron fist.
Fans, find out what happens next for the legacy of the GXW Heavyweight Championship by checking out the action of Ground Zero Wrestling live and in person. Find out where we're going to be next at gxwwrestling.com. Fans, thank you for being here tonight with us for 0 Hour right here in Hopewell, Virginia. It's a whole new era of darkness.